So I created this resource for you. It is editable. That means that you can't change the template layout, but you can type in your own text. So here is just one. There are, I think, 5 different color schemes or color themes, and they all say meet the teacher at the top. And then there is a box here where you put your own words. I have some sample words for you there if you want to read my thing. And then there's a space for your birthday, a space for your name, a space for your picture, your favorites, and your contact info. So it's just a very simple template that you can use if you need something like this to start your year off. A lot of teachers give this out at what many of us call open house, meet the teacher night, orientation, whatever you call it. A lot of folks use something like this as a way for the parents to take something home to learn more about them. And I have it in 5 different color schemes. So here we go. Here's another one. This one is like the, it's not quite red, but it's not pink either, but whatever that color is, in blue. And so the template remains the same, just the colors change throughout the document. And then these spaces, wherever you see the black text, those spaces there are editable, and you can type in your own text. It's a PowerPoint file. And then here in the contact area as well. So this will be super handy for those of you who need a template like this to make a quick and easy meet the teacher letter for your back to school orientation, meet the teacher night. So this is a real quick and easy, but very cute way to do it, right? We're all about cute. And I have an ink saver version in just a second here. This one's purple, green, and yellow. And you can see I just changed the colors throughout. In the black boxes, you can type your own words in there, okay? And then this is the ink saver version, although my picture, I used myself as an example, but use your own picture there. You can turn the picture to grayscale as well if you would prefer. So yeah, this is the ink saver version if you don't have colored ink, and it's just black and white. And turn that picture black and white in your PowerPoint. So yeah, those will make meet the teacher or orientation or back to school night or whatever you want to call it. Will make it so much easier. Robin says, thank you. You're welcome, Robin. I'm trying to figure which way I should go. Thank you for all of your editable pieces, says Marianne. Thank you. We'll use it next year. Yes, Katya's already back at school, so a little too late for her. I'm sorry. Let's see. Is it only for the teaching tribe? No, Sandra, so that's a good question. So here's the deal. We offer 3 different levels of support. We offer pre-K pages, which is kind of a la carte, come and go, do it yourself type of version where we have lots of information, lots of printables that you can purchase one-off, or just blog posts and ideas that you can pin, and that's totally fine. So the editable Meet the Teacher letter is available in the pre-K pages store. Tom has dropped a link for you below. Then we have the Teaching Tribe, which is my premium membership site for teachers just like you, teachers of preschool, pre-K, kindergarten, Head Start, in-home childcare, and more. And over in the Teaching Tribe, our members have access to all of the paid printables from pre-K pages, including all of those editable Meet the Teacher templates I just showed you. So if you're a member of the Teaching Tribe, all you need to do is log into your account, go to the vault, and grab this. It's right there at the very top of the page because I just added it yesterday. So yeah, that is where tribe members can find it. And if you're not on the waiting list for the Teaching Tribe, you're going to want to do that. We're going to be opening very, very soon. Members also have access, in addition to the $1,059 worth of printables, although members don't pay that. They pay a monthly subscription or an annual subscription fee. We also have more than 40 hours of on-demand video training, which we call PD in your PJs. And what that piece does is it helps explain the why behind the what, right? So we have hundreds of printables, but we also have training on best practices in early childhood education. So there's more than 20 with myself as the trainer, and then 20 with guests, and then we add more as you go. So the tribe increases in value actually as I add new printables and as I add new trainings and new resources. Then we also have our supportive community of new and veteran teachers, a safe haven for asking and answering questions. So those are the main benefits of the teaching tribe. We also have other perks like our on-demand, self-paced professional book studies. Right now, we're reading Dan St. Romain's Teach Skills and Break Habits, Growth Mindsets for Better Behavior in the Classroom. So, yes. All right, so another resource that I wanted to share with you. So this is just a folder that I picked up at the back to school sales this week. And inside this folder, I have put my Meet the Teacher letter in the pocket. And then over here on this side, I have our parent handbook. Now we have this parent handbook in many, many, many different themes, because I know a lot of early childhood teachers like to have a theme for their classroom, whether that's a frog or whether that's Noah's Ark, or there are tons of different themes, pirates, all different kinds of themes. This one is the generic school theme. So it's just kind of an alphabet background. And this is going to be super helpful for any kind of meet the teacher, open house, meet and greet, orientation, whatever you call it, because it is going to help create a level playing field for all of the parents in your classroom or your program, depending on how you use it. So what this does, it's an editable template, again, editable PowerPoint, right? And it's offered in black and white because there are a lot of pages. Now you can pick and choose which ones you would like, but there are, I think, 50 pages in it. So it's a fairly large document. And we offer it in black and white to save you ink. And I guess that's because I always had 2 classes, a morning and an afternoon, with 20 or more students. So if I were to print 50 pages for each child, then also the other custodial parent, because there's often 2 custodial parents, so they need 2, I would have blown my ink budget and then some for my entire school year. So I did it in black and white for that reason. So it is black and white, just in case. Okay, so there's a cover page, right? And so this kind of walks you through the information that you might want to share with parents about your program. And again, you can pick and choose what you use from this. This is an example of my welcome letter. You can take it and, you know, make it fit your needs, or you can use that editable template I just showed you. Then there's a checklist there. We found that a lot of parents, they get a lot of information at Meet the Teacher, open house, whatever you want to call it, and they get overwhelmed. And what they need is a quick checklist. So this is editable, so you can change it to meet your needs, but this is our breakdown of, okay, you got all this information tonight, but you also need a checklist to do for the first day of school. Because a lot of times in preschool, it's the child's first experience at school, so it's very overwhelming for parents who have just one child. You're going to want a contact information page. So there's an example there, or you can change the text to meet your needs. Obviously, you'll need to change the email and the phone number. You decide what you want it to say. And then this little circle in the corner down here, this is for you to number the pages. So if you ever need to refer back to your handbook with a parent, you can say on page whatever. But I didn't number them because you're going to pick and choose which pages you use in print. So then you can number them depending on the way you would like to do that. Your school hours, it's always important to have hours of operation. Otherwise, children will show up at 3 a.m. and leave at 3 a.m. Drop-off and pickup procedures can be very difficult for large schools. There are often very specific rules about entering and exiting. The school by my house has such an elaborate pickup and drop-off that it's like mind-boggling. So if you have pickup and drop-off procedures, you can edit this. And like I said, this has a lot of pages. So I'm just going to flip through, and then just know that you can use these if you need them, and if you don't, then don't use those pages. We have after school care. Breakfast, if you have it in your program. Often all the meals are confusing for parents. Lunch procedures, how to pay for the meals, all that stuff can be very overwhelming for parents. Payment, meal payment, if you have that. A lot of schools have the online meal payment now, and that's always difficult for parents to navigate. Absence procedures, what should they do if their child won't be there? Let them know. Oops, I think I missed a page there. Hold on. Medication, often parents will just stick Tylenol in the backpack. And we have to have very clear rules about that. So there's a clear medication policy, a dress code if you have one. If you don't have one, then skip that. Backpack suggestions, I always give backpack suggestions because if you don't, you will get backpacks the size of a brown paper lunch bag, this big, or you will get backpacks that are larger than a child. So you have to be very specific in your backpack recommendations, or you will get all kinds of things that you don't want. Extra clothes, this is imperative. If you teach early childhood at all, you're going to want to have extra clothes on the first day. It's going to be like one of the most important things on your list because young children are used to having a parent around or a caregiver to take care of those kind of needs. And when you have a large class, it's very difficult. So transportation, if your program offers any transportation, you're going to want to have those procedures clearly laid out for parents. A school supply list, some of you have these and some of you don't, depends on your program. Birthday policy, that's always a good one. I put this in my parent handbook because a couple of times we had birthdays on the first day of school. There is nothing worse, well, there are a few things that are worse, but almost nothing worse than getting your class list the morning of the first day of school, having the children enter, and then finding out that you also have a birthday that day in your classroom. And they brought a cake and balloons and party hats and grandma and grandpa and aunt and uncle, and you're like, oh my goodness, worst day ever. So have a very clear birthday policy in place. Let's see, what else? Personal belongings. I know this was actually just discussed over in our Facebook group today. Preschool teachers are superheroes. People were like, how do I tell parents like one stuffed animal at nap, or no toys from home, or not to bring an entire toy box to school? So we have a very clear policy on personal belongings. You decide how you'd like to word it. There are a lot more pages that I didn't print out for tonight that are included in there. There's suggestions for parents for helping their children at school. There are suggestions for how parents can help. There's class rules as well in there. You can, because those are going to be specific to your classroom or your school. I left that page blank, and then you can just type in your own. So that whole thing is editable. They're all black and white, and that's to save you ink. So that's the reason why I do that. Now I just 3-hole punch them and I place them in this little folder here. If you want to buy, and they're on sale right now. Most places, most back to school office supply sales will have them. And I just 3-hole punch them and stick it in here. You can put a nice label on the front, like some of those return mail address labels. I've done that before, and I put, you know, our class handbook or whatever you want to put on there. And then in the pockets, you can put things like the meet the teacher letter, or there's always a million things that go home from administration on that first day of school, or that meet the teacher night, all kinds of forms, how to buy a school uniform, how to buy supplies, how to join the PTO, all that wonderful, wonderful paper. So yeah, that's just a quick and easy way to do it. So another thing that I couldn't show you because it's a PowerPoint presentation. So you have, parents are different kinds of learners, right? Just like children are all different kinds of learners. You have your visual learners, you have your auditory learners, you have your kinesthetic learners, right? So the handbook is really for your visual learners who need to see and reference the information in print. So I always have a print version, but then I also have matching PowerPoint versions. So this right here, this black and white version, has a matching color PowerPoint that you can put the same exact information in smaller chunks on the screen and show that to your families, so they will have a visual on the screen, right? They'll hear you say the words aloud as you go through the PowerPoint, and they'll have a hard copy to take home. And what this does is it covers all your bases. So if you have a parent who is not an auditory learner, so hearing you say it isn't going to be something that's going to be retained in their long-term memory, then this will help. The printable version will help. But then you also have parents who probably aren't going to look at the printable version, or they'll lose it or whatever, but they'll remember some of the information that was shared. So you just want to make sure you're covering all your bases. You've got your printed version, you've got your PowerPoint, you're saying it aloud as you go. It's also a really great way for you as the teacher not to feel put on the spot. How many times, for those of you who've taught before, how many times during your parent meet the teacher orientation, whatever it is, night, have you forgotten to say something super important? I know I have. One year, it was really crazy at my open house, and I was doing my whole back to school pitch, with my PowerPoint, not as cute as these are, but, sufficient. And I totally forgot to tell parents when school ended. So guess who was at school until 5 o'clock? School ended at 3 because some of the parents did not know when school ended, and they kind of assumed it was like childcare and they could just come whenever they were done with work. So yeah, so this is a guide so that all the information is organized. And if you have a grade level or a school, you can all be on the same page and make sure that all of your parents receive the same information, because you're delivering it all to them in the same format. So it's printed, it's PowerPoint, they're hearing you say it, and it helps you stay on track. Jen says, you thought of everything in the parent handbook. What an amazing tool. You're welcome. Yes, and there's lots of themes to choose from. I had it open over here and I lost it. So there's a ton of themes. Tom has the link for you in the comments below. You can go look at all the different themes it's available in. I can't remember off the top of my head because they're a few years old, but I made a whole bunch on request. So, but just know that those handbooks are in black and white for a reason.